Hey there guys, Savage Gamer 1998 here, and yes, you can probably tell by the title of this video, I have redone my setup. This is my gaming system setup. You can see those baskets, I've basically just put cables in there and stuff. Yeah, my floor is still a mess. And that's not my actual laptop I use, don't get alarmed. This is my vintage Windows 98 laptop I use for old PC games. Just in case YouTube, I don't know what I'm saying now. Anyway, we're going to start from the left. Right, so I have the older systems going into the VCR, and the VCR goes out to this TV right here, the CRT. And I have my NES hooked up to the VCR by RF. Oh, excuse me. But the rest of them I have connected by composite. You can see I've had to move quite a lot of things off that shelf. So yeah, as you can see, I have a lot of space, but we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, you can see there's my Sega Genesis. I've just cleaned that up. Actually ran it through the dishwasher. Thinking about probably having a Sega CD under there. Because I took out the RF modulator. And of course, here's my Super Nintendo with the Super Game Boy hooked into it. And there's my switcher. Oh, get that controller cord out of the way. That's my Genesis controller, by the way, if you're wondering. There's my VCR DVD combo machine. And it's not a Sylvania-made one. It's actually made by Funai. Yeah, you can see in there, it's all plastic. But it gets the job done. Oh, and you can see it's, like, all the way in the shelf. Because if you look... Here, I'll move the switcher. Look at how small that thing is in length. I mean, this is like the smallest VCR DVD combo machine that I have. And there's the switchers. I have the output of this switcher going to the VCR. And then output 4 goes to this switcher that has the rest of my game systems. So yeah, input 1 doesn't really go to anything right now. I need to hook something up to it. Input 2 goes to the Super Nintendo. Input 3 goes to the Dreamcast. And input 4 goes to that switcher. And then input, hold on. Just gotta... Input 1 goes to the Nintendo 64. Input 2, I think, goes to the PlayStation 2. Input 3, the Sega Saturn, and input 4, my Genesis. So yeah. And I could use the front inputs if I wanted to, but why would I do that? Anyway, enough on that. Let's move on to the 64. Here's my Nintendo 64, and yeah, you can see I got to clean up back there. Because I was trying to, like, chop that hole right there so I could get the cords through without breaking them. Yep. So yeah, Nintendo 64, great system. And here's my Dreamcast. And yes, there's the bottom shelf, which is just the only thing that's left. And it's just holding my Go Video Dual Deck VCR. Anyway, now I'm moving to the systems right over here. Oh, and that's not connected to the CRT, by the way. Well, the Xbox is not connected to the CRT, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyways, here is one of my PS2s. Now, I have this one connected to the CRT because it actually has the capability to boot the PlayStation 1 games, so my PS1 just sits there as a collector's item. Yeah, I had to replace the AV port in this one, and now it's working. Anyways, there's my Nintendo Entertainment System. I have that connected by RF. I only have one game for it, though. I need to get more. Sega Saturn. Have 3 games for it, because games for it are expensive, and I just discovered that I almost pulled out the wrong cord when I was pulling out the RF modulator. Anyways, now we're moving on to the Xbox. Now, the Xbox I have connected by component to my flat screen television, and it actually looks fairly decent. I'm actually impressed with it, for it being an analog signal. Xbox, getting into games that aren't Sonic related, I bought the Xbox copy of Sonic Heroes just to test the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility function. But enough on that, and let me move on to my other PS2. Now, this PS2 I use for games that support progressive scan, and my camera decided to go out of focus. There we go. Hold on, let me clean it up. Okay, there we go. That's also connected by component, and I'll show you the switcher for it. There's my component switcher. Yes, this only has 3 outputs, but I don't care, because most of my game consoles go to the HDMI switchers, which I'll show in a bit. And there's my PS3. Actually looks really nice in there. You know, funny looking at this, it looks like it barely even fits in there. I don't know if I want to keep this under there, so I probably might try to find some way to make room for it. There's my Wii U. That's my original one. This is my childhood Wii U. I've had that since I was in high school. GameCube, yeah, there's a chip in the system. That's the one I unboxed with the digital AV port. And I've got the HDMI adapter hooked up to it. And it's been working great ever since. Like, my cousin used it the other day. There's my Switch. I need to play more games on that Switch. I don't know why I haven't bothered playing it a lot. I just have not. Now we're moving on to the last 2 systems. There's my primary Xbox 360. That's the best version to get, I think. And when I got this, the top vent was like busted up. So I had to get a whole new top vent for it. And my gosh, I'm accumulating a lot of dust in this room. Really should consider cleaning up here. And I have the bottle caps because my cousin, when he had his Xbox 360, it actually flows the air much better that way. That's what I was told by him. And then here is the Xbox One. Thinking about getting a PS4 to complete the 8th generation of system. And yeah, I already said there's the Xbox One, but I got that from my cousin. And it's not plugged in because that power brick makes a lot of noise. Not complaining about it. Now here's one of the HDMI switchers. I also have it connected to a 4K Ultra HD compatible HDMI switcher, wherever that went off to. Oh, there it is. This is it right there. It's just a little dongle. I have it connected to HDMI 2, and the GameCube. Sorry, I'm upside down. This is the GameCube HDMI plug. Oh, and down there is my soundbar. I actually got that from a thrift store, to be honest, for $30, and I bought the remote off eBay. Anyway, we're gonna let this cut right here, and I'll show you the miscellaneous stuff. Alright, so now for the miscellaneous stuff. In my drawers, I keep some of my controllers. And some of my controllers are out of their drawers, by the way. I need to put those back. And there's other stuff in there that include controllers. Right there is a random Game Boy Color shell. I'm actually wondering, I actually scrapped that for my brother's Game Boy Color that he's had since he was a child. So, yeah. That's the story behind that one. And wireless sensor bar, I forgot to show that. But I use that for my Wii U because, corded sensor bars, they're not that great. You won't catch me with one of those. I'm just kidding. Why did I even say that? And the stuff over here, that's my top load VCR. I took that out of where the Dreamcast and Nintendo 64 were. Because, well, I don't know if I already explained this, but the Dreamcast and Nintendo 64, I was scared that one of the systems was going to short out the VCR. So I was like, you know what? I want the setup to be cleaner. So I just put the switchers on top of the VCR because they're lighter than the systems themselves. So yeah, that's what my setup looks like right now. And this actually went to another output on that left switcher from the sound bar. I want to connect it to the sound bar again, but I need longer cords for that. But anyway, there's some of the stuff over here. Here's my Nintendo Game Boy. My Japanese Sega Saturn, which I don't have connected at the moment. I just have it out as a collector's item. My custom colored Nintendo 64. My brother and I did that last year because I thought my original 64 had died. My PlayStation 1, that's not connected because, like I said, my PS2, the story. Go back if you want to hear that. And there's the exercise bike. I don't know why I have this up here with me because I don't really use it that much. My dad is the one that uses it. And the stuff over here is where I store all my games. There's all my Sonic games, all my Xbox and PS3 games. Oh, wait a minute. I don't really have any PS3. I have more PS2 games than I do PS3 that aren't Sonic related. There's all my Nintendo related Wii and GameCube games. This looks like Mario Party 7, doesn't it? Nothing's in there. Because my younger cousin, when I was very little, broke the game by accident. And they just threw the disc out and just kept the case. I might get a copy of that game one day. I'm gonna... Oh, nothing's in there. Suspensed it, didn't I? But anyway, that is it. This has gone on for almost 15 minutes. So I'm going to stop right now because I think you've seen the game room enough. And there's my dad's guitars. And there's his amplifier that he got before I was even thought of. And there's the Wii U gamepad, which I probably should have shown in the earlier part. Anyways, I will see you guys later. Bye. Oh, and down there you probably saw is where I keep my Xbox controllers. Well, for the 360.